Okay, now that we know what our assignment is, what we are working towards, let's figure out what we have to do to get the grade we want. All right? So what I'm going to have you guys do is flip your springboard to page 50. So you're only doing one turn. You're looking at the back. And you're going to see a scoring guide that looks just like the snapshot on the screen. Okay, I'm going to make it bigger. What I want you folks to do is to copy the markings that you see on the screen in your springboard text. So I'm going to give you about 30 seconds, and I'm going to tell you what all this is about. Okay, so the scoring guide is exactly what I'm going to be looking at when I read your stories and I start grading them. And I wanted you to box in or highlight that exemplary column because that's what you should always shoot for. Shoot for the highest grade you can receive, and that would be an A. All right, the other three columns, they are there because sometimes our writing is a little bit weaker than it could be. We could always make it a little better. All right, but for the rest of the class, we're really focusing in on that exemplary column. Okay, now those numbers 1 through 10, those are corresponding with the 10 bullet points that are there. Those bullet points, those are the concepts. The concepts are what will be graded. Now what we're going to do is we're going to figure out how exactly your concept earns an A. And we're going to catalog this information on your bookmark. All right, so really similar to what we've been doing already today, we're going to locate verb, we're going to locate noun, and then we're going to look for that one little term that changes your work from a C to an A. All right? So that very first bullet point, it's talking about the narrative, doing something. So what do we do as our action for the first bullet point? What's that verb?
Create.
Very good. So we're going to go ahead, circle that up. We're going to create something. We know that much. Now, according to that first bullet point, what is the noun we are creating? That one specific noun. Now, don't get tripped up by it. Some people get tripped up by it. I know someone say original protagonist. Okay. Does anyone think it could be something different? Well, I see, if I don't look at her face, she won't see me. I become invisible. It's magic. Question, what's the noun? What is it that we're creating? What do we have to make? What are you saying, Matthew? According to that bullet point, what are we making? What are we creating? Okay, Matthew also says the protagonist. Here's the kicker. It is the protagonist. But that's the noun part. We're creating a protagonist. We're making an original character, okay? Now, we need to go ahead and figure out what actually makes this an A. What are the adjectives that are making this protagonist different from something that's a C or something that's a D, Scott? This protagonist needs to be complex, and they also need to be, what else? I'm hearing it, original. So, if you're making a story, you better have a protagonist. That's easy. But how you make it an A is that your protagonist is complex and he or she is original. All right? Let's take a look at the second bullet point. Let's try it again. So, what's our verb? What is our action? What must we do in the second bullet point? Where's the verb at? Right? 100% right, you got it. We have to establish something. So now we're looking for a noun. There might be more than one. There could be two. There could be three. What are you seeing, Anaya? I'm going to point out the point of view 100%. That's definitely our noun there. Any other nouns? Yes? Setting, 100%. Is there anything else? What do you say, Basan? Conflict, great. And how are we going to make this an A versus a basic piece? I heard it. Needs to be clear. Very, very good. All right, let's take a pause where we're at here. Now what I want you to do is I want you to take your blue bookmark and I want you to flip it to the back side. Flip it to the back. I'm going to make this a bit larger for you. So on the back side, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and number these rows. There's 10 rows. There were 10 bullet points or 10 concepts on the scoring guide. Well, now we've got 10 rows that are going to be representing those concepts. I know there's not a whole lot of room to put those numbers there, but just do what you can. Now what we do is we separate these ideas so we can see them clearly. So the first concept was written down for you, but there's an error, and I'm wondering if you can find it. All right, now the first piece that we get created on is us creating this protagonist. But where's the error? Matthew, what's the error? What about original? Good job. Original is not the noun. Where should it be? It should be in this thing called the A+. The A+ is how you're going to make that concept an A. How are you going to perfect it and make it better? That was awesome. Matthew was able to point it out, and a few of you were able to say, well, this is where it should go. All right, now let's do together that second concept that we pulled out together. What was our verb? What was our action? You got it. It was establishes. I'm using abbreviations. EEST, establish. All right, now what did we have to establish? Was it more than one item? Yeah, we were making 3 things. So you would write down what 3 items in the noun spot. John? You've got it, 100%. And then we go ahead and write down what's going to make it an A. What were those adjectives that we highlighted? All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull away from you guys. I want you to try the next few bullet points either on your own, or if you want, work together with your family, work together with a partner in your family, and see if you can't get through a few more of these bullet points. If you've got questions, ask. There's nothing wrong with going, I really don't get it, and I just need some help. All right? Go ahead and try a few on your own.